With Brexit quickly approaching, the British government has been negotiating trade deals with countries around the world with the aim of transitioning its economy away from European markets. However, initial conversations with the Trump administration have forced the United Kingdom to consider how much it is willing to sacrifice in order to make a deal. The United States negotiation objectives outline that the UK should eliminate practices that unfairly decrease U.S. market access opportunities or distort agricultural markets to the detriment of the United States. These practices include the ban on the sale of chlorinated chicken, genetically modified plants and hormone-injected beef, which many say will lower the UK's more rigorous food and environmental practices and standards. U.S. President Donald Trump speaks to the media as he holds on to Theresa May, UK Prime Minister, following their joint news conference at Chequers in the UK, on Friday, July 13, 2018, Copyright 2019 Bloomberg Finance LP compromised standards. The defect levels handbook is responsible for controlling the maximum allowable amount of foreign bodies within market-bound produce. Maggots, insect fragments and mold are all listed as accepted foreign bodies that could be found in everyday items. For example, the handbook allows U.S. producers to have up to 30 insect fragments per 100 grams of peanut butter, 6 milligrams of rat excrement per kilo of ginger and even 11 rodent hairs per 25 grams of paprika. Left arrow curving right. Read also, the Green New Deal must benefit Black and Hispanic Americans. As a member of the European Union, the UK had to adhere to strict food safety and animal health regulations, which protects producers and consumers from cheaper, low-quality foodstuffs flooding the market. Despite the UK's International Trade Secretary Liam Fox being previously linked to a potential deal that would comply with the Trump administration's demands, negotiators have continued to deny they are willing to compromise at all. While Theresa May's government has insisted that they will keep high standards for UK farmers, it has been less clear about the standards to which imported food will be held. Packs of Brexit selection freshly chlorinated chicken sit on display at the Cost Upper Brexit Mini-Mart pop-up store, set up by the People's Vote campaign group, in London, UK. Copyright 2018 Bloomberg Finance LP. Tip of the iceberg: the National Farmers Union and other agricultural interest groups have denounced any decision that reduces the quality of food in British supermarkets, pointing out that UK farms will struggle to compete with cheaper imports held to less stringent standards. Described as fear-mongering by American Ambassador Woody Johnson, the controversy over the U.S. trade demands has sparked a debate regarding what other issues a potential deal could create. The National Health Service (NHS) has also been a subject of discussions, with critics warning that it could become a lot more expensive should the government acquiesce to the United States' pharmaceutical demands. Left arrow curving right. Read also, rethinking our oceans, investing in the blue economy. All of this is just more evidence of how the PM's Brexit deal will deliver the exact opposite of what was promised, Labour Member of Parliament Joe Stevens told The Independent. Donald Trump's administration has now made it clear just what it will be demanding from the UK in return for a trade deal, and one of those things is that we let big US companies run riot in the NHS. British consumers will lose their rights and protections, and the NHS will be turned into a playpen for huge US corporate interests. A US-UK trade agreement could have far-reaching implications for the economy, affecting everything from chlorinated chicken to fisheries operations, conservation efforts and even the Irish border. The negotiations' objectives also lay out the possibility for the US to pull out of the deal should they object to any terms the UK negotiate with any non-market economy, such as China. Many British people feel the need to protect the food standards that they feel are stricter than in the United States. Getty. The art of the deal. The controversy surrounding the agricultural and food practices has raised questions regarding exactly how many standards the British government could compromise to guarantee a post-Brexit deal. Considering the Trump administration's trade war with China and disputes with other nations as well as the UK's vulnerability after leaving the European Union, it is not hard to see why critics are worried about the costs of a deal. From an environmental standpoint, the United States has seen a massive rollback of regulations as its Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, reduces industrial accountability towards environmentally friendly practices and publicly withdrew from the Paris Agreement. If the UK is willing to sacrifice its food, health and safety standards, where does it draw the line? The United Nations has already warned that Brexit could damage efforts to protect the environment and curb climate change. Left arrow curving right. Read also, Life After Brexit, Sustainability and the European Regional Development Fund. Although the growing uncertainty of Brexit and the controversy of a U.S. trade deal have been generating much negative press, May's government negotiators have expressed cautious optimism, explaining that these are only the U.S. starting objectives and that they will soon publish their own. Both sides are still far from completing a trade deal, but with mounting pressure over the impact of Brexit for sustainable development and the environment, many will be looking closely at how Britain handles these latest negotiations.